Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Statham and welcome to another week of the Farm to Table virtual series that Eileen and I are doing. This week's topic is butternut squash. So let's start with a little about squash. So squashes are a large group within the cucumber family Cucurbita, and this includes your winter squashes, summer squashes, and pumpkins. So typically squashes have large broad leaves, 4 to 6 stems, or vines grow from a central root. Your fruits vary in shape from round to oblong to cylindrical to turban-shaped. Winter squash is grown to maturity on the vine until the skin is very hard, unlike your summer squash, which is harvested while the skin is still tender. Popular winter squashes include, but are not limited to, Hubert, butternut, acorn, delicious, banana, and spaghetti squash. A few tips on how to grow squash. So winter squashes are frost tender, warm season annuals. Sow squash seeds in the garden or set out seedlings started indoors, but only move them out to your garden after the soil has warmed to at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is usually no sooner than 3 weeks after the last frost in spring. You can start squashes indoors as early as 4 weeks before the last average frost date in spring. Sow seeds indoors in biodegradable peat or paper pots. That way they can easily be set directly into your garden and it will not disturb or shock the plant roots. Winter squashes grow best in air temperatures ranging from 50 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If your plant already has established fruit, this will ripen in warmer temperatures, but flowers, if it only has flowers, it will drop in high temperatures. Winter squash, because of its vining nature, will need more room to grow, so allow at least 6 to 8 feet between the mounds for plants to spread out. Winter squash requires warm soils and can be planted a few weeks after summer squash has been sowed. Adding aged compost to planting beds or your soil is very beneficial to these plants. Also keep in mind that squash prefers a soil pH of 5.5 to 6.8. Squash grows best in soil that is kept evenly moist. So squashes require a lot of water, especially in hot weather. Plants may wilt on hot days as they use water faster than the roots can supply. So as long as the water is regular and deeply applied, wilted plants will liven up as the day gets cooler. However, if the squash is wilted in the morning, it needs immediate water. These types of plants are also really good for container gardening. So many cultivars such as cucumbers, peppers, peas, your other leaf crops, tomatoes, and your squash can successfully be grown in pots. So just make sure that the pot is deep enough. Again, their roots like to spread out, and having a stake so they have something that you can tie as the plant starts to grow up will be very beneficial for these types of plants. How to care for it. Squash has separate male and female flowers. The first flowers to appear are the male flowers that will not produce fruit. Female flowers appear slightly larger and are pollinated by the male flowers, commonly with the help of insects. If pollination is slow or does not occur, use a soft bristled brush to dust the inside of a male flower, then carefully dust the inside of a female flower. And to help you tell the difference, a female flower will have an immature fruit on its stem, and a male won't. So common pests and diseases that you will see with squash. Aphids. Aphids are a small insect found on new stems and on the underside of leaves. Leaves will become yellow, crinkled, and curled. The insects suck fluid from the plant, leaving a honeydew substance behind. To control this, use insecticidal soaps or a strong stream of water to dislodge the insects. Squash bugs. Squash bug adults are gray, brown, and suck sap from leaves, leaving them speckled before they wither and die. The bugs must be controlled while they are immature, and to control them, you can pick the bugs by hand or use a type of insecticide. Squash vine borer. Squash vine borer is a troublesome pest that begins as an adult that lays eggs in the lower stem of the squash plants. Developing larvae tunnel and eat their way through the lower stems, causing plants to wilt and eventually die. Control is very difficult, and prevention with labeled insecticides is key. If the insect is detected early, it can be carefully cut out with a sharp knife. Soil should be mounded over the wound to encourage rooting. Powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is a white powdery substance that appears on older leaves. It eventually spreads to all parts of the plant. You can use surface or underground watering methods to avoid wetting leaves and or plant restraint varieties. Blossom end rot. Blossom end rot affects fruits. So the fruits develop a black rot on the end. Hot weather and lack of calcium as well as a lack of moisture increases susceptibility to this. To control, supply even moisture to the plant and supply lime as needed. How to harvest. Winter squash typically takes 80 to 110 days to mature. It is mature when the fruits are fully colored, vines are starting to die back, and the rind is hard and resistant to scratches with fingernails. Again, when you're doing your summer squashes, those are harvested while it is more tender compared to your winter squash when you want that hard resistant to scratches and scratches with fingernail surface. Matured fruits should be harvested with the stem attached and stored in a cool, dark, and dry location. So this location can be about 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Buttercup and banana squash store longer than butternut and acorn squash. Winter squash, however, does freeze very well. And there are many ways that this can be prepared, and just a few are baked, steamed, simmered, or mashed. Resources. Here are the 2 sites listed that I got the information for my PowerPoint from. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email is down at the bottom, kls342@cornell.edu. And stay tuned for Eileen's video this Friday where she's going to go over a quick and easy recipe that you guys can do right at home. And I have her email down at the bottom as well. We hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye.